Today we are going to be taking a look at the LTO network, a coin that I've recently reviewed and it got a lot of positive feedback, and today we're doing exactly the same thing. So we can see the LTO network is currently 24.8% up in the day, and that is quite a big jump. Even for cryptocurrencies, it's a big jump upwards. And we can see that if we take a look at the 7-day chart, it's gone from lows of about 0.3 to highs right now of about 0.6. So you could almost double your money really in about 10 days, because obviously the market bled massively. Now we can see that the circulating supply is at 70%, and that's quite high for relative to most other cryptocurrencies, meaning that the fully diluted market cap is similar-ish to the market cap. And you can see there the market cap is quite low at $774 million, with the fully diluted market cap at $250 million. So what is LTO network and what does it do? So we can see here that LTO is Europe's leading blockchain supposedly, and it's got over 100,000 daily transactions, 90 plus days on average, and 60 plus ecosystem partners, which puts it in the top 15 blockchains worldwide. Now, as I said last time, a lot of people can say this is undervalued based on the fact that it's a massive blockchain with loads of transactions, yet compared to other blockchains with similar amount of transactions, the market cap is so much lower. However, I am not a financial advisor, and anything I say in this video and anything I give opinions on should not be taken as financial advice. It's simply my opinion, and for disclaimer reasons, I am a holder of LTO network. It's one of my biggest positions. Now obviously I could lose all of my money tomorrow, but today I'm going to be talking about why I quite like it, what is the future, why has it gone up massively today. So we can see that the LTO network is partnered with the UN, is partnered with IBM, a lot of different banks, and they're currently working on projects in Afghanistan where they are using their blockchain and live contracts, and smart contracts, mainly live contracts, a new feature to essentially give and disperse the ownership of the land in Afghanistan, because it's hard to know who owns it. And the UN are working with Afghanistan because 80% of their land is apparently no one knows who owns it. So the LTO is helping UN and Afghanistan with the land ownership and identifying who owns what. And recently there's been a big push. They've got some great partners, I think. And recently, obviously, they're a hybrid blockchain. But there's a few partnerships with the Moon something company, and they're moving into the section of identifiers, DIDs. So we can see, what is a DID? So a DID is a decentralized identifier, and it's globally unique, resolvable with high availability, cryptographically verifiable, issued for a lifetime. Now, as I was saying before, identification, verification is such a big part of crypto, especially moving forward, because as crypto becomes more mainstream, there needs to be a lot of identification of who owns what, who's making what transaction, what's going on here, and there needs to be a lot of data protection around this. And this kind of explains another reason why I've said before I'm invested in Selfkey. It's in my portfolio, and recently LTO network have been moving in on DIDs. So you can see that there's essentially, I think it says it here, like a, where is it? It's like a identification card almost. So, let's just say, I think, where does it say about IDs? But anyway, yeah, it's like an identification. And I think going forward, if the blockchain is really optimized for identifications, and, there's going to be so many transactions, I believe, happening on this blockchain if their DIDs take off and if it becomes mainstream recognized. So we can see on their Twitter that the LTO network, Europe leading hybrid blockchain platform, is still quite relatively small in terms of, it's not like, let's say, Coti, ORN, which have really gained a lot of altcoin hype. There's a lot less altcoin hype around the LTO network, duly represented in the 8,000 followers and not 40,000. But we can see here, some are claiming it offers some disruptive technology. Top 10 blockchains now based on network activity, ranked 290 based on market cap, leadership partnerships of, Dutch government, United Nations, IBM, and their partnership with the Dutch government saved the Dutch government in efficiency and workflow about $8 million. And I think with such large savings relative to a relatively low market cap, it does provide some good signs for any investors. So we can see, as I was talking about, they've partnered with Hackanoon, and there's so many, obviously everyone's Twitter is going to be promoting their own altcoin and stuff like that, but I feel like they're a lot more of a steady altcoin, and nothing's been caught up, it hasn't been caught up in the hype as many as like some other altcoins have. Now we can see that obviously all time it started out about $0.1, it's gone up to highs of 0.2 before, and then 0.12, and then prior to this rally, it was sitting at 0.1 and it shot up all the way to 0.85 at its all-time high before scrambling down to 0.32, 0.4 at its lowest. And I was panicking when I saw this, but it has rebounded very nicely due to their partnerships and their new partnerships, and people saying it's going to potentially be a good coin going forward. So my entry point was a tiny bit at 0.5, then a lot at 0.75, and then some at 0.5 again, some at 0.38, and now I'm sitting at an average of about 0.65 personally. And I'm looking to hold for the very long term, because I think, with a project like this, there's a lot more risk and a lot more reward because of its low market cap. And obviously being an altcoin, there is some serious risk involved. So let's go on to take a look at their report on Coin Bureau. We can kind of see that moral of the story, it talks about its good tokenomics, it talks about, it's use driven, and it talks a lot about, what the model is. And I think at the end they say it's a, conclusion is that it looks like a very good project. It's targeted and well designed, it's transparent, and it's easy to use. And they focus on the business side of things. They focus on integrating everyday business transactions and procedures and normal businesses into crypto. And personally, as crypto takes off, I feel like if they're that kind of middleman between businesses and crypto right now, the blockchain is only going to develop more customers and clients, in my opinion. There was a report on there that basically said that the downside of LTO is that there's other things like DAGs, and the way LTO works is a lot of the time, they store data and they store transaction data and they make transactions on the blockchain and stuff like that. And sometimes with these transactions, they can be, while quick, slightly not expensive. They're quite cost efficient relative to other blockchains, but they're not free. And there's other cryptos that use DAG structures, DAGs, that are basically means that the transactions and the data storage is completely almost free, a lot cheaper. So there was some sort of questions about going forward, the DAG crypto is going to take over LTO, and that was the kind of downside of it. And I think as well, obviously there comes a risk, whereas an altcoin, it's risen massively in the last year, currently looking at a 6 times increase, not as much as some other ones, but it's still a very big increase for 5-6 months. 600% is crazy. And then again, another risk is that will it take off? Or is it just doing the job of can other bigger blockchains with higher market caps and more scope do it better? Like, can ADA do what these guys are doing in a click of a finger, and then it makes them irrelevant? Are other companies going to work on DIDs? It's got competition from the likes of Selfkey in that respect. And there's a lot of competition around it. It's still so small that there's so much competition. Just because what they're doing is revolutionary and important to the industry doesn't always mean that they're going to be successful, because there's competition from, all areas of it. Are they the first mover? Is there a first mover? What I'm saying is that, on paper it looks good. And I personally, hence why I'm invested, think it's good. But there's obviously a lot of other factors to consider. So that is a rough overview of LTO Network. We can see that in their recent news, we can see it jumps 35% since the last 7 days. All the news is kind of from VIA. There's no real mainstream stuff that's being picked up on because, you can see it fell massively. I think the reason why it's increasing a lot over the recent few days is purely because it fell so much during that recent market bleed. Maybe it overfell and now it's rebounding. And as well, what's going to send it to the moon? Just more people using its transactions, more people really getting involved in deciding to use LTO for when they convert over to the crypto side of things, for businesses trying to make their processes more efficient and save money and time. Choosing to use LTO will create demand for the LTO coin. High demand for the coin obviously means, assuming supply the same, higher price. So there it is. LTO Network. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll catch you again soon.